Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back. Alex here. And look, I don't say this lightly, but what I'm about to walk you through today is genuinely one of the most unexpected, most electric stories I have covered on this channel in a long time. Not because of a dramatic upset, not because of some locker room controversy, but because of numbers. Cold, hard subscription numbers, and what they say about a sport that just got completely blindsided by a wave it never saw coming. Let me set the scene. Right now, as we speak, the Women's Tennis Association is in a state of shock. The Tennis Channel, one of the most established broadcast networks in the sport, is scrambling to process what just happened to their subscriber metrics. And in Indian Wells, California, in the middle of the Coachella Valley Desert, a 20-year-old woman from the Philippines is quietly, methodically, and beautifully tearing the whole tournament apart. Her name is Alexandra Eala. And if you're not already locked in on her story, sit down, because this one goes deep. So here's the headline, and I want you to really let this sink in. Thousands of Filipino fans, not hundreds, thousands, have gone out in the last 72 hours and bought Tennis Channel subscriptions. Paid subscriptions, not for a Grand Slam, not for a final, for a third-round match at a WTA 1000 event. The kind of round most broadcast networks don't even build marketing campaigns around. The servers felt it, the executives felt it, and the analysts? They are still trying to figure out how to explain it in a meeting room because their models simply did not account for this. What we're looking at is not a ratings bump. It's not an engagement spike. It's a full-scale demographic mobilization. The Philippines, all 115 million people of it, plus a massive global diaspora spread across the Middle East, Europe, and the United States, decided collectively that they were not watching this on a delayed highlight reel. They wanted to be there, in real time, credit cards out. The subscriber surge looked less like a tennis tournament and more like a pay-per-view boxing event. And I say that with full awareness of what that comparison means, because in the Philippines, the country that gave the world Manny Pacquiao, they know exactly what that kind of national sports moment feels like. Before I get into the match-by-match breakdown, I need you to understand the cultural context here, because without it, the numbers don't make sense. When a Filipino athlete steps onto the world stage and starts genuinely competing for greatness, not just participating, not just showing up, the entire nation locks in. It's hardwired, it's cultural, it's something you can't manufacture with a marketing budget. We saw it with Pacquiao. Fight nights in the Philippines were practically national events. Traffic stopped, crime rates dropped, entire neighborhoods gathered around a single television screen. We've seen it with Gilas Pilipinas, the national basketball team, whose fans are routinely recognized as the most passionate in international competition, traveling thousands of miles to turn foreign arenas into seas of red and blue. That same concentrated, almost ferocious energy, it has found a new home. And her name, again, is Alexandra Eala. The moment word broke that she was making a deep run at Indian Wells, the Filipino internet moved fast. Facebook groups dedicated to Philippine tennis lit up. ABS-CBN and local news outlets back in Manila ran the story. TikTok, Twitter, the call to action spread like wildfire. Alex needs us. The only way to watch her live is on this network. Subscribe. And they did. Now let's talk about why they are watching. Because the tennis she's playing right now is absolutely worthy of every single one of those subscriptions. Eala's run here at the 2026 BNP Paribas Open, often called the fifth Grand Slam, and rightfully so, has been, frankly, cinematic. It started in the second round against Diana Yastremska. If you don't know Yastremska, understand this. She is one of the heaviest hitters on the entire WTA tour. She doesn't construct points. She tries to end them, violently, with sheer power. For a younger, less seasoned player, stepping onto the same court as Yastremska can feel like standing in front of a freight train. Eala didn't flinch. What she showed in that match was tactical intelligence well beyond her years. She didn't try to out-hit Yastremska. That would have been a losing battle. Instead, she outmaneuvered her. She absorbed the pace. She used quick, precise footwork to stay balanced. She returned deep, kept Yastremska behind the baseline, and patiently waited for the right ball to attack. The final score tells the story of a player with serious mental fortitude. She dropped the second set. She had to reset. She had to go back out there in a deciding third and break serve late, under enormous pressure, with an entire stadium roaring her name. And speaking of that stadium, let me tell you something. The crowd atmosphere during that match was not normal for a second-round match at a WTA 1000 event. Not even close. This wasn't the polite, golf clap energy you typically get in the early rounds. Stadium 1 sounded like a home crowd. Flags waving, chanting, pure, raw noise. A neutral venue in California felt, for a few hours, like Manila. But if the second round was the spark, the third round was the explosion. Eala was drawn to face Coco Gauff, world number 4, American superstar, one of the most recognizable names in the sport. And this wasn't just any matchup, it carried baggage. Weeks before Indian Wells, Gauff had beaten Eala pretty convincingly at the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships. It wasn't particularly close. The Filipino fans remembered it. The entire community knew the narrative going into this match. Can Alex handle Coco this time around? The answer came fast. Eala walked onto that court looking like a completely different player than the one in Dubai. Her team, led by coach Sandra Vines, had clearly done their homework. In Dubai, Eala was rushing points against Gauff's elite defensive game, creating unforced errors by trying to force things that weren't there. At Indian Wells, she was patient. She waited. She served with smart, high-percentage placement. She consistently targeted Gauff's forehand, a wing that, under enough sustained pressure, does have a tendency to break down. Within no time, Eala was up 6-2 and racing through the second set. She was dictating play against the world number 4. The Tennis Channel servers, already hot from the second round surge, were now being pushed to their absolute limits. And then, unfortunately, Gauff had to retire. A persistent left arm injury that had been troubling her reached a point where she simply couldn't continue. Now, I want to be fair and clear about this, because it matters. No player ever wants to win that way. Eala herself didn't want to win that way. Her father, Mike, sitting in the stands, said as much, that it wasn't how she wanted it, and they genuinely wished Coco a full and fast recovery. But here's what we cannot pretend didn't happen. Before that retirement, Eala was winning. Convincingly. She wasn't hanging on for dear life and catching a lucky break. She was executing a clinical game plan against one of the best players on the planet. The scoreline reflected that, and the tennis reflected that. Even Coco Gauff, who is known for her grace and her honesty, acknowledged it. Back in Dubai, Gauff said publicly that Eala's fans are great for the sport. She said that playing against Eala felt like playing an away match because the Filipino crowd was so loud, so unified, so relentlessly supportive. Coming from Gauff, that's not a throwaway comment. That's a genuine acknowledgement of something real happening in this sport. The WTA is paying attention. They'd be foolish not to. Here's the thing about broadcast networks and how they think. They build their projections based on historical data. They know roughly what kind of viewership a Swiatek match draws. They know what an All-American matchup delivers. They have models, algorithms, forecasts. They did not have a model for the entire Filipino diaspora deciding to log on simultaneously for a second-round match. And that, right there, is what's so seismic about this moment. Eala doesn't just bring talent to the court. She brings a market. A massive, previously untapped, highly motivated market of premium content buyers that no other player on the tour can deliver in quite the same way. In terms of pure broadcasting economics, she is an economic bridge to Southeast Asia, a region of hundreds of millions of people who have never had a reason to pay for live tennis content, until now. Think about what that means long-term. The analysts are already doing the math. If a fourth-round run at Indian Wells drives this kind of subscriber spike, what does a deep Grand Slam run look like? What does a Wimbledon final look like? What does winning Wimbledon look like? Paul Annacone, former coach of Pete Sampras and Roger Federer, one of the most respected minds in the sport, spoke about Eala on Tennis Channel Live. He praised her grace under pressure, her humility, the way she handles the weight of an entire nation's expectations without cracking, actually using it as fuel rather than collapsing under it. When Annacone talks, the tennis world listens. And what is seeing in Eala is that rare combination of physical elite-level talent and a genuinely unshakable mental foundation. There was a moment after the Gauff match that, for me, kind of crystallized everything about who Alexandra Eala is. It was International Women's Day. She's standing on the court, mic in hand, broadcast live to tens of thousands of newly subscribed fans watching from living rooms in Manila, apartments in Dubai, homes across North America. And she doesn't talk about her forehand. She doesn't give a tactical breakdown. She talks about the women who paved the way. She shouts out Coco Gauff as a role model. She turns to the stands, finds her mother Riza in the crowd, and thanks her, genuinely, visibly moved, for helping her become the woman she is today. That moment wasn't manufactured. That wasn't a PR team's idea. That was a 20-year-old being completely, authentically herself on one of the biggest stages her sport offers. And that kind of authenticity, that's exactly what turns a casual viewer into a lifelong fan. That's what makes someone renew a subscription month after month. Eala is not a brand. She's a person. A grounded, warm, fiercely competitive young woman who is somehow carrying the hopes of millions of people and doing it with a smile on her face. In the round of 16, she faces Linda Noskova, a dangerous Czech player, another rising star on the WTA tour known for her flat, aggressive baseline game and the ability to hit through the court. This will be their first professional meeting, which adds an extra layer of tactical uncertainty to the matchup. Eala will need to bring a combination of what she's shown so far in this tournament. The defensive resilience and grit from the Yastremska match. The patient, controlled aggression from the Gauff match. She cannot let Noskova get comfortable at the center of the baseline and start controlling the rally. She'll need to use her heavy topspin to push Noskova back, and look for angles to open the court rather than trying to go through her. It won't be easy. Nothing at this level ever is. But the form is there. The belief is there. And judging by what we've seen this week in Indian Wells, so is an entire nation behind her. Let me zoom out for a second and say something plainly. What is happening around Alexandra Eala right now is bigger than tennis. It is a story about representation, not in the soft, abstract sense that word is sometimes used, but in the hard, measurable, economically undeniable sense. When a nation sees one of its own competing at the very top of their sport, they don't just watch. They invest. They buy the channel. They buy the tickets. They change the financial ecosystem of the sport itself. She is carrying a torch passed down by Asian tennis legends, Lee Ene, Naomi Osaka, but she is doing it with a distinctly Filipino energy, a distinctly Filipino flair, and with a level of real-time financial backing from her fans that is genuinely unprecedented in the history of this sport at this stage of a player's career. The thousands who crashed the Tennis Channel servers this week are not a fluke. They are the leading edge of something much larger. They are a declaration, loud, clear, and backed by subscription receipts, that professional tennis is truly a global sport, and that when a champion rises from the islands of the Philippines, the broadcast executives, the WTA boardroom, and the traditional tennis establishment will have no choice but to stop, look up, and pay attention. The WTA is shocked today. They'd better get comfortable with that feeling, because Alexandra Eala is 20 years old, she is just getting started, and her army of fans is only going to get louder, larger, and more powerful with every single match she plays. Alright, that's going to wrap it up for this one. We unpacked the matches, broke down the cultural phenomenon behind the subscription boom, and looked at exactly why Eala is quickly becoming one of the most important needle-moving figures in all of professional sports right now. Now I want to hear from you. Did you actually buy a Tennis Channel subscription this week just to watch Alex live? If you did, what was that experience like? What did you make of her tactical evolution against Gauff before the retirement? And heading into the Noskova match, what do you think are the keys to victory for Alex? Can she keep this run alive and push even deeper into this tournament? Drop your thoughts, predictions, and messages of support in the comments below. I read as many as I can, and the conversations in this community are genuinely some of the best sports discussion on this platform, so come join it. If you got value out of this breakdown, please hit the like button. It helps the channel more than you know and tells the algorithm that this is the kind of in-depth tennis content worth putting in front of people. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button and ring the bell. We are tracking Eala's career every single step of the way alongside all the biggest stories from the ATP and WTA tours, and you absolutely do not want to miss what comes next. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your time. Keep flying those flags high, and I'll see you in the next one.